Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, Virginia's virtual viewing audience. We're having some technical difficulties. Our Miss Stephanie Russo will be coming in shortly. I am going to see what is going on with our tech on her end. But I am glad you are leaning in. We wanted to spotlight this entrepreneur who is a licensed baker, real estate investor, and also a licensed baker. And I am going to see why she is not able to get in at this moment. I see her coming in one moment, so hold on, hold on, hold on. Yes, she is having major difficulties coming into the studio, so we may have to consider spotlighting her a little later. She is definitely not able to lean in at this time. Miss Stephanie Russo, she is an energetic, successful entrepreneur in Mason, Ohio. So I'm going to give her a few more moments. Just give me a moment here, and I am going to see what's going on with her. Just a few more minutes. I'll be right back.
There. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Hey, Virginia's virtual viewers. We were having some tech difficulties, but our our wonderful baker is here, Miss Stephanie Russo, and
Yes,
I
thank
want
you.
you are so welcome, my dear. We are so happy you're here, and I want to know the backdrop. I'm looking at your bio. It is extensive, and I know that the whole reason you are being seen is because of Miss Scotty D. Carter Green.
Yes. That's
So
my maternal grandmother.
that's your maternal grandmother. So just give the audience, the virtual viewing audience and listening audience, a little backdrop on your grandmother. And I loved hearing your story.
Sure. My grandmother cooked and she baked, and she was an excellent cook and baker. And people used to ask her to, sell her cakes and things like that. But she thought, why would anybody want to buy these homemade cakes? That's what she called them. They're homemade. And so I'm like, Grandma, they're so good though. And so she would just ask for a love offering, and they would give her $5. And so she started teaching me how to cook and bake from when I was 5 years old. And what I loved about it is that when we were in the kitchen, Virginia, we talked about everything. She introduced me to God. She taught me how to cook. She taught me how to bake. And that was priceless, was the conversations there. And so when she got older, the torch was passed to me. And I started cooking and baking. And then I started getting those requests as well to open up a restaurant or a caterer, or open up a bakery. And I prayed on it for about 20 years. And then finally, I don't like to move forward until God tells me to. So that's why it took 20 years. He finally, in December 2019, told me to move forward with an online bakery, but pound cakes only in unique designs.
Wow. And with those custom designs, give us a little backdrop on how that came forth.
So, well, it came through from God. And I started out with 3 other designs, which was a rose and a heart and a single heart and a 3-tiered heart. And someone shared with me that you should videotape people tasting your cakes and, post them on social media. So as you can see, I'm non-technical. I just started learning how to use social media and all of these things just 3 years ago. So, and so I started videotaping people sampling our cakes, and I made a little mini cake so that they could sample. And people were saying, wow, these are very generous samples. They loved it. And people started requesting the mini cakes. And I said, well, those aren't for sale. Those are just my samples. And they were like, well, we really want those. Or, some were empty nesters, or they said, they wanted to control their portions. And so they started. So that's how the samples of the mini cakes came about, is I wanted to create a sample so people could taste the cakes. And then the other designs just came from feedback from my clients. I had a young lady who her son was graduating from college, and she didn't want to give him a rose or a heart or the mini cakes. She wanted something a little bit more traditional. And so I just surveyed my customers, and we came up with an elegant crystal cut that's traditional, but just a little bit more elegance to it.
Yes, I know when you came into the virtual community with Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and I don't know if it was 21 or 22 when I started buying your cakes, and I was like, oh my God, I got to give everybody I love these cakes. Every month I was shipping one to my nephew, I was shipping one to my sister, shipping one to my friends, and it was just a blessing. And I think that year, I don't know, I was like, is there a VIP?
Yes, you're just about there. And so with our VIP club, and I thank you so much for that. And so supporting my business, and that's why I wanted to be here to support you. You asked me, I'm like, whatever you need, sister, I am here for you. But the great thing about that too is, they make great gifts, and so we put a complimentary note in there so that you can say happy birthday, happy anniversary, or Merry Christmas, whatever you want. Or some people buy our cakes for sympathy too, if a loved one has passed. So we could put a scripture in there. We can do that. And what's so great about it, your family loved them so much, they started ordering too. So
yes, I know.
So that does happen.
Yes, I know. They call me all the time, and they say, I'm online, I'm searching for her. I'm like, no, that's not the one. You got to go to this one. So it's been so exciting. Yes. And tell me, you have like a branding with corporations if they want to have custom boxes. You kind of go in detail with that a little, don't you?
Yes. So in March of this year, again, listening to feedbacks from our clients, we always pride ourselves on saying, let us create solutions for you. What is it that you need? And so they wanted to enhance their branding and customer loyalty. And so in March of this year, we created a corporate division. And now corporate accounts, whether it's real estate professionals, life coaches, we have life coaches, business coaches, and just corporations any business owner who wants to send gift giving to their clients, we can do that branded for them by putting their logo on our cake boxes. Again, putting a complimentary note. That has really taken off, and especially here for the holidays. So we have corporations who are ordering the cakes, the big cakes and the little cakes, and we brand it for them and send it out. And one of our clients sent out quite a few for Thanksgiving, and they sent us a beautiful note saying that they got an overwhelming positive response from their clients who received the cakes. They love our product. They love the presentation of the boxes and of the product of the cake as well. They love the aroma. They love the artistry of the cakes. And so it helps them too to, like I said, enhance their branding. And when you give someone a gift that's unforgettable and you make an unforgettable impression on their life, they love it.
They love it. I have my sister on and a couple of friends that I've sent cakes to them on the holidays, and it's just been a blessing. I just love it. I just love it. So what was it? Why was it so important for you to achieve this particular dream? Because you've done so much in your life, studying at the Northern University, Kentucky University, and got your master's, at Cincinnati University. But this seemed like this was your baby and your dream.
Yeah, and this kind of makes me tear up. And it's because of my grandmother. Like I said, I prayed on it for 20 years. The relationship that we had, it's priceless when you can be in the kitchen with a loved one. You're hearing, I'm hearing about her life and the struggles that she went through. Her mother died when she was 4 years old, right after childbirth. And so for this, this was an assignment from God.
Wow.
And so being obedient to my assignment, and I started this company from scratch. So it's a business ministry for me. It's more than pound cakes. I believe that when you provide someone with something that's made from scratch, whether it's a cake or it's food, it touches their heart and their soul. I've had people who were sick, and when you give them a piece of cake, if it's homemade, they can taste the difference between a box cake and a homemade cake. And so this is my business ministry. It's more than pound cakes for me. It's seeing something that God has given to me that I'm going to be honest, I was a little scared. I was a little intimidated. And now seeing, as my daughter said it so beautifully, my oldest daughter, she said, "Mommy, you have blessed us for so many years here with our family. Now you're blessing the world." I don't know if it's quite the world yet, but so that's why it's so special to me, because it's honoring the legacy of my grandmother. And so she was a special woman. She volunteered. And so we do volunteer in the community. If we know someone who has passed away tragically, or we will send a cake. We have given to charities. Right now, we have a church that we're donating food baskets, and we'll put a mini cake in there to their sick and shut in and the elderly. So we do that each year. So there's, some charities that have touched our hearts that we want to give back to, and we do that. But yeah, this one is this business is my business ministry. It's a little special because I've created it, and we came up with the name. You prayed on the name. My grandmother's middle name is Dee, and so that's why it's Dee-Licious. Taste from heaven, because she's in heaven, and God gave me the assignment to do this. So
it's a blessing. I know Wings of Wisdom stands on biblical principles, and in Luke 12:48 it says, "To whom much is given, much is required."
Yes.
So I know that's your biblical principle.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, and I love that, because it's almost like your grandmother came by and planted the seed for you. And then she kept watering it all while you were little. She watering it, she watering it, she watering. She goes to heaven. You continue to water, and now God gives the increase.
Yes, and everybody is telling me, they say, we know, their aunt, it's their auntie, their grandmother, their mother, they're saying, we know that she is smiling down. I know she is saying, those homemade cakes, Stephanie, you're selling those cakes.
Yes.
Yes, I am, and in your honor. So, yes, I'm doing that because everything that I have and all that I am is from the grace of God. But what I've learned even though I have a master's in education, most of the things that I have learned came from my grandmother, who didn't graduate from high school. She has so much wisdom. And she taught me financially. She taught me how to cook, to bake, and to do those survivor skills. And so that's why, I wanted to be able to honor her.
Wow, it's powerful. I came up with my own little biblical principle. I said, "Oh, come and taste the delicious pound cakes. They are so heavenly and so good."
Yes.
Yes, and it actually comes from, the scripture, "Oh, taste and see
Yes.
with the Lord," that the Lord is good in Psalm
Yes.
34:8. So it is a blessing. I just wanted Virginia's virtual viewers. I know it's the holiday season and people are saying, what should I do? What should I give? And this particular gift, if the gift of giving, and when somebody get a cake in the mail and it's so delicious, it's like, oh my God, it's a blessing. So I got your www.deliciouspoundcakes.com. There is the website, and any other way they can contact you if you want to give that, I'll put it up for you.
So it's just a website. And the other thing that I wanted people to know too, I love our history. And so I want people, and since my background is in education, I wanted people to understand what is a pound cake and the history of the pound cake as well. And so that is posted on my website. And so the pound cake originated in the South, and it became well known by a former slave. And back then in slavery, they couldn't read and write. And so they had to pass a lot of things orally. And so that is how the name pound cake came about, because since they couldn't read and write, they had to have something to make it easier. So they used a pound of everything. And that cake used to be very heavy, and it used to last about 7 to 10 days. And then when it came out with those active agents like baking soda and baking powder, they were able to modify the recipe. And so it's not as heavy. It doesn't last that long. And so I have on my website that our pound cakes typically last 48 hours or less. They don't last a week. I've even had people say, oh, but in my house, it still lasts a week. And then they've gotten it and it's lasted less than, 48 hours. And so I wanted them to know that this originated from slavery down in the South. But now I want them to know that here's a Midwest young lady who is selling pound cakes. And it's not just for, the holidays. We have people who order our cakes for birthdays, anniversaries, any type of occasion, and then they're giving them from corporate gifts as well. So I wanted them to know the history of it, how the name came about. So you can go on my website and look at that as well.
Okay. And also, if you have any last words, you can always just give those to the audience as well. But I wanted to know, when did you know? I know you launched in 2019, which was great because it was right before COVID.
Well, actually, I launched in 2020. God answered my prayer in December 19. So we launched 2 weeks before COVID shut down.
Wow. So it was so timely with the online. So did you ever think that you wanted a brick and mortar, or was it always just online?
Well, as I mentioned, God answered the prayer in 2019. See, at the end of the year, when people are starting to do New Year's resolutions, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I do prayer requests and ask God, what is it that you want me to do? So I asked him for my assignment. And then that's how I move forward with the year. And so in 2019, he gave me that revelation to start an online bakery. So it was not my intent to, even do it. It's just, people were coming to me, like I said, for 20 years. And I was just giving the cakes, away. If they asked me, Sister Rousseau, can you bake a cake for so-and-so? And I would say yes, and just do it. But so that's how that came about. So no, I never did think about a brick and mortar because that's not the assignment that he gave me. And when I did open and I made the announcement on Facebook with guidance from God, you all have asked me when I was going to open up a bakery. Today is the day. And so everybody was like, that's not what we said. We said a restaurant or catering or, what about your other, because, I bake quite a few other things as well. And they were asking for those. And I said, well, that's not what he told me to do. So they thought it wasn't going to move forward. So one of the things that I would share is that when God gives a vision to you or an assignment to you, you have to remember that he gave it to you. And so others may not get it and understand it. And you know what? Sometimes you may not either. I didn't either. So I had to do my research and I had to even pray for clarification because I had never heard of an online bakery. And I thought I misheard him. And so you have to sometimes pray for clarification, and you have to move forward because I believe that when he brings you to it, he'll bring you through it. And so when he gives that to you, if you are obedient to your assignment, you're going to see great things. Others may not get it. Don't be upset with them because he didn't give it to them. He gave it to you. So when people were telling me that's not what they were expecting and not to do this, even my own husband, at first he was like, hey, people gonna buy your cakes? I'm like, yeah, we'll see. And so my thing is move forward with your assignment. And God, when he opens those doors for you, he will continue to open those doors. But a lot of times we hold on to our gifts and talents. You know what they say, where's the richest place?
Yes. And
It's the cemetery. It's the cemetery because people do not move forward with their gifts and talents and they hold on to them. Well, I'm not going to do that. So I just said, I'm going to do it. Let everyone see my gift and talent. And in doing that, it's just been a blessing to, people have called me and when they have received a cake and have cried on the phone and said, I felt mom's presence. She's been gone for a few years, but when I ate your cake, I felt her presence. I felt my grandmother's presence. They have said it reminded them of a loved one who's no longer here, or remind them of a cherished memory. I had an 80-year-old male who said, when he took a bite, wow, this took me back when I was 5 years old, sitting barefoot on the porch in Mississippi. So that's why I say it's more than pound cakes. It's reminding them of a cherished memory, a loved one who is no longer here. And that warms my heart when I hear people say things like that.
Yes, it tastes like the pound cake that my mother always baked for me. So I'm a testament. And I have her recipe here, but I still call you and order yours. Left me with
That's what people are doing. Yeah, because they're like, we didn't get the recipe, or that person's no longer here, or, they don't want to bake and they want something that doesn't taste like a franchise or mass produced. They want something that tastes homemade from scratch. I even had chefs and other people who bake pound cakes who have eaten my cakes. And one gentleman, he sells pound cakes. And as soon as he ate it, he said, it's not dry. I said, well, it's not supposed to be. But that's what people are, you heard Deborah Owens when she said that, she had bought one and people were like, oh, I'm on a diet. I don't want anyone, right? I don't want to, I'm going to take a little sliver. And she said, then they took a little piece before they walked away. And then they came back and ate some more. So because they have an expectation of pound cakes that they have tasted before of what it tasted like. And so they assume when they see it, oh, this is going to taste dry or it's going to taste like the pound cakes they know until they take a bite.
Yeah.
And then they realize it's a taste from heaven.
Yes. So I know for Wings of Wisdom, this is my dream and I brought it forth. So for those individuals who are standing at a crossroad and they're saying, I'm going to launch my own online or whatever their dream may be, if you can just give them last words, I would love for you to do that.
Yeah. Well, before I do that, I want to say how proud I am of you. And that's why when you asked me to do this, I'm like, I am so on board For you, you did the same thing. You took your assignment. And I love the name Wings of Wisdom because of you being in airlines for so many years. And so you stepped out on faith. And that's what it is stepping out on faith. Faith.
Yeah.
And so, faith, it all starts with that mindset, and it starts with belief. And so we just have to believe, and we have to know that for me is I can do all things. It doesn't say some, it doesn't say a few. It says I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And that is what I stand on. I know that, as I said, all that I have and all that I am is from the grace of God. And so when I'm standing on him and standing on his word, I know it's going to be awesome. And so knowing that you're doing that as well, you stepped out on faith. And faith is when we can't see, Martin Luther King, his definitions is taking that first step when you can't see the full staircase. And that's what we're doing. We're trusting, and sometimes we're trembling, but we're trusting. And we're moving forward. And that's what you have to do. Even if it's just a little needle move, it's trusting and moving forward and taking that first step. And that's what he tells us. If we take that first step, he's going to be there. He said, I would never leave you and I would never forsake you. So he's going to be there. Like someone said, he will qualify the unqualified. Yes, he will. So he will do that for you. And so, when you're having, like I said, when COVID hit, if I would have listened to people and had a brick and mortar, 2 weeks, I opened my business, I would have been shut down. But since I didn't have to worry about that brick and mortar. And so it's just been a blessing. That's why I said you have to listen to what he tells you to do and to go on and to do that. And if you do that, he will guide you.
Yes, he will. I so appreciate you. I love the cakes. I have some of my friends on here who I've sent them the cakes. They'll probably be reaching out these holidays. They're on here talking about, yes, it was delicious. So I'm excited. So Virginia's virtual viewers, if you need a cake for the holidays, you do not have to labor. All you have to do is reach out to Miss Stephanie Rousseau, and her information is here at info@deliciouspoundcakes.com. She also has www.deliciouspoundcakes with the s.com, and also her number is 513. This is her cell 348-5008, or direct 513-770-0947. In Mason, Ohio, the Buckeye State.
Yes.
We're so happy you're learning, listening, and we're grateful. Happy holidays to all of you. Any last words? Stay backstage.
So I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I said that you came into my life. It was, God sent too. My husband and I, we were praying and we're like, who should we work with? and it was you. And I know it was no mistake. And so I'm so proud of you for stepping out on faith and doing what you're doing. If there is anything I can do to help you to further your dream, and I like to say, you're living out loud in color. Yeah. And so if there's anything that I can do to help you, because that's what sisters we need to do. We need to be, when we're saying I'm my sister's keeper, I'm my brother's keeper, how we can be those sister and brother's keeper is to elevate. And so we have to make sure that we're reaching back and helping that other person and not having jealousy to say, oh, well, I'm not going to help her because then she may make more money than me, or she may have more exposure to me. That's not what it's about. It's about helping each other and to lift each other up. So if there's anything that I could do for you or any of the other viewers who are watching, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to help you in any way that I can.
Okay, I have one of the sisters on, Liz Boxley. I sent her one for the holidays last year, and she said, I am definitely reaching out. So I know you can definitely expect to listen to hear from Liz Boxley, because I know she's definitely going to reach out to you.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, my dear. But ladies, listening audience, Virginia's virtual viewers, I'm so glad you leaned in, and we will be right here next week, same spot. And happy holidays to all of you. Have a
Yes.
wonderful day.
Merry Christmas to all of you, and I pray that you have peace and prosperity in your life.
Yes.
Love and love.
Yes. All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.